Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Harrison Talks Pod, episode 65. I hope you're having a great day today. For today's show, I figured since it is still early on in the off season and only a few weeks or about a month past the beginning of free agency, we would spend all episode today, and by we I mean me, talking about the LeBron James decision. It is the last, but is it the final decision? We'll talk about that, among many other things that are floating around in my mind. Took some notes just to try and avoid rambling too much because I have a lot of thoughts, of course, about this. I figured we do it all at once. Next week or this week on YouTube, we can talk more about big picture free agency. Still waiting on a few things to happen now that LeBron has made his decision. And we can move on. I know I spent my last YouTube video talking about the LeBron James decision, and the next day he signed. So let's clear that part out. Subscribe to all the YouTube things. As a reminder, as I said, I do YouTube only videos usually on Thursdays when it comes out. So check that out if you want to see more content. Everything we're doing in Side Panel Network, whether it's Nintendo Therapy or my gaming channel, that is all in the link in the description below. All right, so it was what time? I know they said he made his decision at like 1 o'clock in the morning, but like when did they announce it? Because I mean, did he make multiple videos? I assume that LeBron only made one video that had the Meek Mill music in it. That was super cool though. I wish I had seen the LeBron James post before I saw the announcement. But anyways, I hopped right on there and watched that. And of course, it's a whole montage that we've seen 1,000 times. And then the Sixers logo pops up. And can't believe Meek Mill has been around for that long. Longer than that. Longer than like the 13 years ago when it came out. So, shout out to Philly. Oh man, I'm kind of already jumping ahead of my ideas, but I hope if you're a Sixers fan, you just enjoy it. You just enjoy, contextualize. Just put in context of what it is. You don't have to you don't have to like be married to this man. Like he is there for at most 2 years, 1+1. And if anything, if you're still mad about it, look at your freaking offseason. Ow, I hit my hand. I mean, Paul George getting older, got rid of him. Most likely was going to do that anyways. Got Jaylen Brown for it. Maybe the biggest, maybe the biggest move, besides Giannis, right? So that happens. That's a huge deal. You put Jaylen Brown next to Tyrese Maxey. That's awesome. And then that acquisition leads to the LeBron James decision. Of course it does, right? I mean, there's 0% chance LeBron James is considering this, even though Tyrese Maxey is his guy, even though he has the Team USA relationship, all the other things, right? The connections with the front office. Without Jaylen Brown, this domino doesn't fall. So amazing. Like I truly hope Paul George is productive wherever he goes. Just there's always those doubts there. It's the same doubts that have been there for the past 7, 8 years, right? But A+ overall, just absolutely incredible. And I mean, I want to talk about LeBron James' role, but we're kind of assuming things. I mean, LeBron James can be the third, fourth, fifth option on some nights if he needs to. He doesn't have to be that primary scorer, but what I assume we're going to see, and what I hope to see is that he is just that anchor, that quarterback, the person who's has the most experience and can help just dictate that offense. Because bottom line, in this modern NBA, who dictates it better? So that's what I expect, and I would not be surprised if, even though LeBron James, I bet will be closer to 30 minutes rather than 36 minutes. We'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if he led the league in assists this upcoming season, because you put prime LeBron on this team, he's easily getting 12 assists per game, per 36, per 38 minutes. Just too many opportunities for lob threats, too many opportunities in transition, and the transition scoring's very exciting. I know it's kind of skewed that he was second in transition scoring last year. Of course, there's the criticism of him not playing as much defense, but also more realistically, he's getting the scoring however he can. Of course, he's the leading scorer in NBA history. That means he gets the points how he can. But super exciting. I mean, Maxey and him 1 and 2 in transition points. I know VJ Edgecombe is way up there, and it should just be a very fun, athletic team. And I guess I want to talk more about matchups, but since I'm here, that was the big question I had this past week. I did not talk about it in depth, just the team construction of it all. Because on NBA 2K, wow, it looks amazing. If I'm playing my career next year, I know which team I'm picking just for the hell of it. But there's only one basketball. There's a lot of feelings, thoughts, egos, and I have mixed feelings about it. My default, like my gut feeling is that there's less pressure on regular season things. Like I heard like people on like radio or podcasts, YouTube say like, "Oh, well, do you think LeBron James will play 82 games next season? Should he? Like maybe he should play 65 to be eligible for things, and ideally he would play, closer to 70 or more. But like, is rest going to be a big thing for this team when you consider the age of some players, the health of some players? The goal will be the postseason, which makes the longevity discussion even more interesting. So what I'm focused on, I mean, I want to go through the starting lineup, say all my thoughts on this, but my biggest thought is Joel Embiid, because I've been on here multiple times prior to this whole offseason saying they should move off from him. The process is over. He should get a fresh start somewhere else. But I knew with his contract extension, there's not a whole lot of people that could actually take him on. He's a former MVP, and he's had a great deal of health issues, which he's been vocal about, has impacted the way he feels about the way he's been treated. And I think some of those criticisms are valid. A lot of players who have injuries or lingering injuries are trying everything they can to actually play in those games. So health is a concern, but I think that is understandable. Is Embiid okay with a backseat on some nights? That's what I want to know. Because like there's a lot of talk, especially on like the national media level, about how at least before before LeBron, maybe before Jaylen Brown, that this is Maxey's team now. They should hand the keys over to Maxey, let him run the offense. He's the new young athletic, future All NBA type player. And does that impact anything? Because I like to think that Jaylen Brown coming in saying that he had his most enjoyable, or whatever he said, his favorite season with Jason Tatum being out. I thought, he got to play a bigger role, and I'm not surprised that he enjoyed that. It's good he enjoyed that, right? Um, and I don't really have as many doubts as far as how he can play. Again, I think him next to Maxey is going to be awesome to watch. So much fun. And I'm not as concerned about the ego thing. But I am curious about it. I am curious about it because I just have to imagine Joel Embiid, former MVP, still has a lot to prove. And man, if he could be a part of a championship team, that really helps that legacy. I mean, he's already most likely in the Hall of Fame. With him having some of the best offensive seasons of any center ever. I mean, I think he's almost there. Every MVP ends up in the Hall of Fame, right? Derrick Rose will end up there. I'm pretty sure all of them do. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. Most of them do. So I'll kind of move on and just say I don't know how Embiid will feel as the season goes on. And I'm also thinking too about they're gonna have times. I bet they have at least one time this season where they're losing games. They're losing like multiple games in a row. And what does that look like? Because the spotlight is there. The spotlight is going to be there for them. And I heard Bobby Marks say it. I think he's completely right. I think you have to add a third game on opening night now because the Knicks doing the ring ceremony. That's big for New York. That would be kind of big, I think, on the national stage. But of course, it's a national game. Assuming they play the Spurs. And I think you got to have the Sixers on this night. And do you have the Sixers playing the Celtics on this opening night? Does that happen? Assuming that maybe you get an interconference NBA Finals rematch between Spurs and Knicks already. But I don't know. I think they're going to have to maybe add a third game. I don't know if they would have two at 7:00 or they add like one maybe in the afternoon. But I think it's got to happen. So 41-year-old LeBron James goes back to the East. Think about right now where you were the last time LeBron James played in the East in 2018. And think about just how many things have changed since then. And, it's always felt more right. It's going to feel weird, though. I mean, the fact that he played Miami makes it less weird that, he's already played in the East outside of his hometown. But, yeah, I just can't believe it. I was holding out thoughts on everything, pretty much, because besides this last decision to go to LA, which, between that, Magic Johnson recruiting him, pretty sure it was going to happen. But I've been wrong with everything else. I was wrong about Miami, wrong about going back to Cleveland, and I'm certainly wrong with also 2018. Think about where you were when you found out he was going to Los Angeles. It's year 17 for him. He signed a 4-year deal. Now, how many players have signed a 4-year deal in year 17? How many of you were like me and thought, this is it? And maybe he doesn't even play all 4 of those years. Right? That's year 20. Not so many players play in the year 20. Imagine how you might feel, but I would feel way different. If you knew in 2018 that there's still 8 to 10 years more of this sort of thing. I'm sure the guy who did the LeBron is already 30 years old tweet. I'm sure, he thinks about that. Because, my perception was, all right, he's in LA, his family's there, his mom's there, he already has a house there. And if he plays all 4 years, that's year 20. And also, I think people forget too that I didn't think he was going there to win anything. I thought he was going there to play out the end of his career. And there was the Bubble Championship, there was the NBA Cup, and then there was multiple playoff series wins, including one this past season against Houston, which was even though Houston was banged up too, embarrassing. I thought it's embarrassing considering that the LA was missing two of their top three guys. So it changes a lot. And now he goes back to the East. He goes the furthest away from LA as he could, almost, unless he was going to go to like New York or something. And I can't imagine what those conversations between him and his team and his family are about that. And then it's the minimum contract. I don't know if minimum is actually $4 million for him or $2 million, whatever it is. It's a small number, right? And they might have made other deals too of him for, there's going to be endorsements, there's going to be merchandising, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for this billionaire to get richer, excuse me. But the conversation didn't really mean a lot to me about how, oh yeah, he said he'd be open to a minimum contract. I said in my video this past week, until he does it, I'm not really that convinced by it. Because I think anyone could say that and have it sound okay. Like, yeah, reach out. I'm looking at all offers now. But he did it. 2 years, $8 million. And I'll say it now. I mean, if this is his last decision, him going back to Cleveland could be his final decision. And I think it is extremely likely. But also, he might not know. Like, it's ridiculous to think that we could be in this exact moment pretty much the same time next year. But maybe this is not the last contract, because who cares if he changes his mind? Who cares? But 1+1, I could very well see July 1st next year opting out, signing immediately with Cleveland, announcing this is it, year 25. Year 25, and that is substantial. Quarter of a century, ending it back where you started. Bronny would be unrestricted next year, right? It's hard to tell if, it kind of depends, but, who knows what happens there. Can LeBron secure a contract for him as well? We'll see what happens. We'll see if Bronny actually stays in LA or if they actually put him with his dad. But, yeah, for now, I guess there's not really any sort of thought about it. Oh, my God. The matchups are just... Man, the East is going to be so much fun. If I could snap my fingers, be in October, sorry kids, I would choose for this summer to just be over now, because I'm so ready to go. I mean, like, they're playing the Knicks, all the history's there between Sixers and Knicks, LeBron and Knicks, hit the Celtics, LeBron versus the Celtics, Jaylen Brown versus the Celtics, Sixers versus the Celtics. Gonna be playing the Cavaliers back home in Cleveland. Got 4 matchups against them, 2 in Cleveland. Got 2 matchups in Miami, 4 overall. Tyrese Halliburton's coming back with the Pacers. Got the Pistons, who were first place last year. Got the Raptors, who have Kawhi Leonard now. I still don't think it's the best conference. Because I would still, even though OKC made the decisions they had to make this offseason, I'd still pick them, given you saw what that team looked like without Jalen Williams, without AJ Mitchell, and they're shifting to see. I mean, I'd love to see if, Zim moving Lou Dort means they get to extend Jared McCain in the future. Like, I don't know where that money stands. That's not what this episode is about. I I'm just so excited to see these matchups. It's a lot like how I felt when LeBron first went to the West. That was like, finally, we can see, 4 matchups between LeBron and Steph Curry every season, and 4 matchups against him and Jokic. Yeah, so I still take the West. I still would. I still would, but the East maybe has never been better. And I hope that this is, last season, a lot of health issues. This season, I expect it to be much, much better. Let's talk about another narrative I want to talk about. And we're going to do a lot of narrative talk. That's what this whole episode today is about. Come back any other week for like numbers and things. We'll do some numbers at the end though. Besides the him being 41, that's a number for you. And speaking of 41, a narrative, of course, that we see go around is, oh, like, this is a super team, and LeBron is ring chasing. I'm here to say, what is he supposed to be doing? I mean, he can retire. That's one thing. But if you're sticking around right now, I hope he competes. And I want to do this part now and maybe never do it again. I'm tired of hearing about the golf thing. I really am. But it's just like, it's just silly, Like, I like golf. I do. I have no problem against it. But if you're a billionaire and all you want to do is play golf, that wasn't LeBron. We saw what his decision was. But if a rich person just wanted to play golf, just do that, So I'm happy to see that the decision wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go to Golden State. It'll be fun to have Steph and LeBron together, but most likely we will not compete, but we'll have nice weather and good golf courses. I'm happy it wasn't that. But for anyone coming out saying that LeBron is just ring chasing, that's probably true. It's probably true, but what else is he supposed to be doing at 41 years old? So, interesting decision. I wasn't sure if he would take like a 90% pay cut, more than that, like more than that, less than 10% of what he was making last year. Again, there's other deals and everything. So in the end, it's the best basketball fit. It's very surprising with the money and the location, and maybe his family goes with him. Maybe they live in New York. I'm assuming you can live in New York and play there, or I mean, his family can do whatever they want. And Philadelphia is the best basketball fit, assuming everything works out, and having LeBron plus Jaylen Brown gives this team a little more leeway, I think, in the regular season to have their team healthy. And there's all those connections there. Joel Embiid, whether it's Team USA basketball or NBA, Tyrese Maxey with Clutch, Nick Nurse, Bob Myers, Mike Gansey, all people who helped build trust around making this deal, I'm sure. Cleveland, again, I think it's still very much in the options for the final season, whether it's 25 or beyond that. But I'm happy it didn't happen. I'll be selfish now. Old roster before the James Harden trade, I'm like, okay, maybe. But now I'm concerned about where this team is and what they do with Evan Mobley and what they do when they extend James Harden. I just didn't want to see James and James together on the same team. Miami was my favorite pick because, according to LeBron during Fanatics Fest, this was not being considered to be his final season that he'll be signing for. So I figured multiple seasons, that's Miami. I mean, Giannis, familiarity, great front office, good weather. What else is there? But Philadelphia makes sense, as I said. It from a basketball standpoint is most likely the most sense. Fit is also interesting when talking about LeBron. Like, people like to talk about if he can fit somewhere, he can fit anywhere. And that's not only LeBron, but that's like the top players in this league. Like fit's just not something I'm just that concerned about. But certainly with him. I mean, with what we've seen, 24 years of controlling tempo, being able to read defenses, being able to elevate and make late game plays, just putting the ball in his hands for those important decisions. It's an upgrade from whatever, if you put him as point guard or point forward, it's an upgrade from whatever you're replacing him with. So I talked about Embiid. I hope that I'm concerned about VJ Edgecombe. We talked briefly just now about Jared McCain. I hope the same thing doesn't happen with VJ Edgecombe because, I was watching him for the FIBA qualifiers a little bit. I know they were playing Jamaica, not like the strongest competition, but oh my God, like I think it's inevitable him being at least an all-star caliber player, at least being at the level he needs to be an all-star. I really think it's there, and having him next to LeBron is just going to help elevate that development even more. So please, Sixers, please develop this guy. Please do not give up on him because I think that's what the future is. Like don't sacrifice these next 2 years for his development to elevate this team further. It's gonna trust the process pretty much. Don't trade him. I'm only saying that because with what Jared McCain, what that happened, like I I hated that. Uh, and we'll have nights, I'm sure, where Maxey's top option. We'll have nights where Embiid goes off. He's the top option. We'll have nights where LeBron's the top option. Jaylen Brown's the top option, right? So there's a lot more options on this team than maybe what LeBron had on the Lakers. Even after Luka Doncic arrived, it's going to be perhaps a slightly different role on this team. And I said that I wouldn't throw too many numbers out, really didn't do too much analysis for today, but I did. I should have referenced it. Whoever podcast I heard, good job on this. 5 of the NBA's 37 highest touch players are the starting lineup now of the 76ers. I know top 37, but 37th was the last one. I'm assuming that was VJ Edgecombe. So Nick Nurse will not have an easy task, but I think very highly of him. How he controls the egos and identities of this team to make it cohesive. I don't think it's going to be as easy as maybe like people will expect. I don't know if people do expect that sort of like 2K sort of thing. We saw it basically with Golden State, right? Like Golden State didn't bounce back from a 73 win season and win more games, but they were certainly more dominant when Kevin Durant joined. Just that the league started to catch up at the same time. Basically, what can they improve to this next season? And we're about to be wrapping up, so it's worth it to say that I would call this year 10 upcoming, year 10 of the process. I mean, did the process start in Embiid's rookie season, as in the first year that he actually played? I'm calling it that. So let's call it the 10th year of the process. And out of those 10 years, they only missed the playoffs twice. That the first year Embiid's a rookie, and then in 2024, 2025, increased heavily, of course, from last year to the season before that, 24 wins, missing the playoffs, to 45 wins, and have not gotten more than 54 wins in this process era. This very long era that has seen young, old, big, small name players come through, but remain consistent with Joel Embiid. So can they win more than 54 games? Or if we're betting 54 and a half games, can they win more than that? Over, under. I don't know. Don't ask me about that part. Ben Simmons. Has Ben Simmons made the call yet? What do you think? Dwight Howard. Has Dwight Howard made any phone calls to the Sixers yet? What do you think? KCP's coming. That's awesome. That's awesome. He can try to get, once again, another ring. Glue guy. Who doesn't like KCP, right? So that's awesome. Just rich get richer for the Sixers off season there, and very happy to see him on the team. So can LeBron finish it off? I'm not doing the GOAT debate thing. Just not doing it. I mean, technically LeBron could get 6 championships, and that would be easy, but I mean, I'd rather just focus on what I think the fit's going to be. And certainly an offseason that I will never forget. The last real big, memorable offseason that I can remember, that I think of, is 2019. And that was coincidentally when Kawhi Leonard left Toronto. Now he's going back. There was a lot of big deals in that offseason. But I'll remember this for a lot of things. I mean, it's crazy. I know it's LeBron, but it's crazy that any 41-year-old athlete, player, whatever, man, can just single-handedly control, dictate the scheduling of what the league does. You saw people at ESPN not going on vacation waiting for this. You saw Adam Silver say that we're waiting for LeBron to make a decision to make the schedule, which of course you do that. Of course, if you're a smart business person, that's what you do. You schedule it around the big players and the big matchups. But the fact that he actually went out and said that was wow. Wow. I expected more sort of corporate talk. And honestly, I like Adam Silver. I really have no respect for things like that. Free agents to me might as well be people that are unemployed, not for a bad thing, but if they're a free agent, they're not working for the league at that point of time. They might be representative, they're a figure, but it's just I think the message would be better hey, I'm the commissioner, we're waiting for the star players, but sooner or later we gotta decide, even if it's not true. I don't know, just lie to the consumers. But yeah, 41 years old, minimum contract, and everyone's waiting for him. Besides, I guess, Austin Reeves. This is bigger than Austin Reeves, but besides him, I guess he was the biggest free agent signing, and now we get to see what else the other teams do, whether it's Detroit or some other teams in the East. Still waiting to see some things get finalized there. Is that it? Is that all? I want to get this all out of my mind so I can start moving on in my basketball life. So, huge offseason overall. If you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe. We'll be back this week on YouTube, this next upcoming weekend, with more actual basketball talk, I promise. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying your off season. You have a great day, great basketball week, and I will see you next time.